can't remember the last time I left the house. I do know that I ran out of my medication a few days ago, but the apathy I was feeling just kept telling me to stay in, lock the door, and go to bed. Not like I could afford it anyway. With no insurance to speak of and barely $10 to my name. Hell, the last grocery delivery I got is barely hanging on, despite my depressed appetite forcing me to ration it. I had about 12 different voicemails from my mom, asking why I wasn't responding, begging to know that I was still alive, but I just couldn't. It wasn't worth it because she wouldn't believe me anyway. Hell, I'm surprised she hasn't flown over here just to drag me out. I can hear her now. You know you're better than this, Daisy. Get up! Yeah, great motivation there. It was the voice in my head, telling me that I was worthless, that it would be better for me, for everyone, if I just took myself out of the pool. It's not like I contributed much. I was just a struggling writer who posts horror stories on the internet. It's not like it was enough to keep the lights on. Then again, I don't even know if anyone would notice if I stopped paying rent in this shithole high-rise, other than the slumlord that already bled me dry like a damned vampire. He didn't even come around anymore, and knew that eviction wasn't even worth the trouble. Cops didn't give a damn about things out here, and this guy was already on their shit list. Must not have paid his dues to the police union lately. Loud, discordant tones rang from my phone, sitting on the charger beside my bed. I don't even know why I bothered trying to keep it charged other than doom scrolling anyway. It's not like anything was looking up in the world recently. I figured that it was just another silver alert. Some old dementia patient taking the keys when they shouldn't have. Now, my grandpa made it all the way to Mexico like that one time. And unlike his decaying brain, though, mine found the idea of being outside to be fucking terrifying. Just the slightest hint of stepping out of my apartment was dread-inducing, with an insane amount of things that could go wrong at every moment. Hell, just going to the grocery store can get you shot these days. So why risk it? Not the point, Daisy. Just check your damn phone. The sleep in my eyes wasn't leaving, taking every chance when I tried blinking it away, desperate to put me back under its dreamy spell. My hand darted out, limbs heavy, still not completely awake, and I pulled my phone to my face. It wasn't even dark out, despite the blackout curtains making it look like the dead of night. No, the phone read 2:37 p.m., with the alert notification in full right below.
Emergency! Nationwide alert, all persons. Do not, under any circumstance, look at the sky. Please close all windows, doors, and any other way to view the outside. Please shelter in place until the alert has been lifted. If you are not in an area to shelter in place, please carefully move to the nearest building with adequate shelter. Repeat, do not look at the sky under any circumstances. If you or someone near you has made this mistake, immediately administer the following emergency procedures. Restrain the exposed. Rigid, stronger bonds are recommended. Do not attempt to reason with the subject. They will try to tell you that they are unaffected. Terminate the subject through dismemberment or immolation. Use both to be safe. Remain hidden until this alert is lifted.
The hell is going on? I mumbled, still in my half-asleep state. I'm barely through the message when a call starts coming through from Mom. God, I don't want to speak with her right now, but with something like that coming through, I want to think that it was a prank. Some joker hacking the system for some kicks like Max Headroom back in the day. But I don't know, though. So I better at least set Mom at ease. I guess it's the best time to let her know that I'm alive. Deep breath, Daisy. Just answer the phone. I hit the green button, with Mom's voice coming in almost immediately, frantic and screaming. I can barely make out what she's even saying.
Daisy? Oh, God! Daisy, are you okay? Are you safe? Don't do it! Don't look out, please!
She was tripping over words and sobbing, starting to come between.
Your father... Oh, God,
Mom, what the hell is happening? The sleep is shaking out, with my fear spiking instead. She never sounded like this. Mom is always the tough and no-nonsense type, more likely to curse at a problem and beat it into the ground instead of walking away. I barely ever heard the woman cry, much less utter the word God without it being in Sunday school reference. Where's Dad? What did he do?
He was outside, doing yard work. You know how your dad is. Next thing I know, he's bashing at the door trying to get in. He's changing. I swear, his eyes are gone. He's practically foaming at the mouth, but it's like all his teeth are just growing or something. They keep getting longer in his mouth, sharper. I don't know what to do, Daisy. What do I do? He's trying to say something, but I can't understand the words.
The words are coming out more forced now, sobs more pronounced, and breaths cut short in fear. Whatever apathy I had about talking to her before was gone, now full of fear that this might be the last time that I ever speak to her. Mom, you need to hide. Go in the bathroom. There's no windows or anything. Grab a phone charger, a knife, whatever you can. Don't look out. Do you understand? Jesus, is that me talking? I haven't had this kind of command in years. Not since I burnt out around my mid-20s. Adrenaline is one hell of a drug. Mom, I need you to confirm. Do you understand me?
Yes.
She stuttered.
Daisy, Winston was out there with him. He's gone.
Shit. Their dog. Stereotypical bulldog name aside, he was a good boy. Probably got spooked about what happened with Dad. No. I can't talk to her about that right now. I got to keep the confidence going or she'll break down completely. We'll find him later. He probably just ran off.
No. He's gone. Your father has him. He's making something with the body. Like a statue or something.
She was muttering now. Mom, are you moving? Are you going to hide? I asked again, pressuring her to keep going. I need you to hide in the bathroom. The one connected to your room, okay? Lock every door on the way and keep yourself safe. Please, Mom. Glass shatters as she screams. A garbled sound was coming from nearby. There's a brief thud as my mom drops the phone, making it hit the hard wooden floor of their house. I can hear Dad's raspy voice speaking with something unintelligible through a warped mouth.
He has me! Daisy! Please talk to him! Help!
Her sobs were punctuated by scrapes along the floor with periodic thumps, shattering glass, tinkling, and crunching on the ground.
No! Jeremy, please! I don't want to go out! Come and see.
A hiss barely audible over her screams. It was Dad's voice. I could recognize it anywhere, even through the strange noises that he was making.
Worship with us. No, please, stop! No, don't make me look!
Mom's screaming pleas are cut short. Complete silence on the other line before she suddenly begins to whisper,
Praise be.
Mom! Mom, are you okay? I was screaming into the phone now, holding it up to my face on speakerphone to try and get any attention possible. Instead, I only got silence, punctuated by the occasional scream in the distance. But nobody ever answered my cries. I finally hung up, knowing that nothing would come from staying on the line. My only thought was that at least I'd have a peace of mind knowing that my parents are already gone. It's not some mystery that I'll never know the answer to. So, at least there's that, I guess. So, I know it's not a prank either. Something really fucked up was going on. Okay, be logical, Daisy. The alert said, just don't look at the sky. Dad was outside when it happened, so that confirms something there. Restraining them makes sense now, but destroying them? Good God, that's bad, if the government is recommending it. Maybe there's something on the news. As soon as the thought crossed my mind, I found the remote, flipping through the local news on my hijack cable. The anchorman was just sitting there, worry on his face as voices from behind the camera clamored in nervous agony. I get it. I got to hear how my parents died. And how many of these people have loved ones that they have no idea about? How many were there out of some sense of duty, just trying to keep everyone who watched safe?
We have yet to know if anything can cure the result of what's happening. What we have heard from the CDC and WHO is that this is not an isolated event. This is happening worldwide with the same symptoms presenting regardless of nationality, race, sex. Nothing is discriminatory about this. If you look at the sky, you're dead. Effective immediately. If someone you know looks at the sky, immediately seek safety and isolate them. Restrain them if possible. It has a 100% infection rate and will not pick and choose who receives its horror. We hope to have a representative from the CDC as soon to speak.
He was stammering, barely keeping it together. The phone ring made him jump from his chair, the sweat on his brow drenching his perfectly groomed hair.
Yes, that seems to be him now. Professor Sigurd. Yes, this is Professor Sigurd. Please, if you're listening, we beg you, do not go outside. Don't look out your windows. Don't do anything that could expose you to a clear view of the sky. Something is changing, people.
He was frantic. Terror was in his voice, but also menace. He knew something that the rest of us didn't yet.
Please, if someone you know is exposed, isolate and restrain them. They will try to expose you as well, in any way possible.
I guess that explains what Dad did, I guess. The professor kept going, though.
The only thing that infected beings want to do is reinforce their numbers. They'll do it through any means, even working together. The only thing that we know is that they speak of worship before whatever it is that they see.
He continued on.
I'm sorry, Professor. Can I ask a question?
The anchorman asks, holding up a hand like he was commanding the caller to stop.
What the hell is up there? As of now, we still don't know. We're attempting to see how we can view it without causing an infection. It's a drawn-out process of trial and error.
He replies, shaking in his voice.
It's currently unknown, although we have tried to see it through cameras and other means. But nothing. Nothing comes up. It's like filming a clear sky. So recordings of the phenomena will not cause infection.
The anchorman tries to clarify, a look of relief spreading across the nervous lines drawn of taut on his face.
We have only tried digital recordings, but yes, the infection will not take hold when viewing through recorded video. That said, we have yet to commence live viewing, only trying pre-recorded as of now. Please use discernment and do not try anything that could expose yourself or others.
Still rambling on. He sounds more panicked than before, though. Something else is creeping in.
And I want to stress, and I feel that I cannot do it enough, to stay hidden from any of these things. They are no longer your loved ones. They're no longer the people that you know, worked with, or grew up with. They're monsters. Plain and simple.
I turned it off. It's not like I plan on going outside anytime soon anyway, so no worries about looking at the sky for me. Now just to lock the doors and wait for this whole thing to blow over. Mom's screams kept bursting through my mind, though, making me jump as if she were right next to me, shrieking for her life as Dad drags her away. It all felt so real that I just had to try. Picking up my phone and letting out a deep sigh, I called her number, ringing. The steady, consistent sound as I waited for her to... It was torture. I knew she wasn't going to pick up, so why the hell am I doing this? It's only going to go to voicemail, and then I have to hear her sounding all happy and... The screen changed. Video was popping up as she answered the voice call. The ceiling was visible only, their fan spinning lazily above, a spatter of red on one blade still dripping down steadily. I was holding my breath without realizing it, but whatever air was in my lungs began hissing out slowly as I whispered, hoping against whatever terror was causing this. Mom? Mom, is that you?
Come and see, Daisy.
A whisper barely audible over that phone speaker. Suddenly the screen is hectic, something picking up the phone and flailing all around the room. Movements of chaos pass, finally settling on a face. What remains of a face, at least. It was definitely Mom, or was at one time. But now the entire upper half of her face was gone. Like, physically there was still space, but the skin where her eyes and nose once were just gouged out, scraped raw to expose the bone and muscle in her skin underneath. Her eyes were totally gone. Her nose was cut off at the base, and yet I could still feel her staring at me.
Come and see.
She whispered again. No. That wasn't right. That wasn't my mother. This wasn't anything how she should be. There was no reason for any of this.
Come and see, Daisy. Worship with us. The seal is broken.
I didn't even realize I was practically smacking the shit out of my phone screen, shaking hands, doing my best to hit the damn cancel call button. The red button finally connected, the disconnecting tone hitting right as my mom began to turn the phone away from herself. The opening door flashing before me, it began to reveal the open sky. My eyes clenched shut as I tossed my phone away, praying for it to end. Why? Why did I try that? I should have known. I should have known that it was going to be bad. Jesus! What is happening out there? I got my answer almost immediately. A loud explosion shaking the building, causing windows to rattle. Whatever exploded, it was close. Screams coming from outside that could be heard even up here on the 15th floor. Another loud boom shook me again, this time feeling even closer. Close enough that the window to my bedroom shattered, bringing the noise outside in. Screams echoing from below. Good God, what is going on out there? I could hear nothing but screams and chaos coming from below. The Atlanta streets were in a frenzy, violence ringing from the air. People begging for their lives, pleading for their loved ones, all punctuated by that same goddamn phrase.
Come see.
As much as I didn't want to, there might be something useful on TV if it's still active. The screen came on, same channel as before, but the anchorman was now replaced by a woman. And a small carrion at the bottom of the screen was reading out a new message. Martial law. All emergency services are suspended. Well, that was fast. It had only been 15 minutes. Honestly, time is more of a foreign concept right now, and I threw my phone somewhere under the couch while I was trying to get away from Mom, so no telling what it was. The television didn't have the time either, just more warnings coming across the screen. Those same instructions to dismember or kill anyone affected by the thing in the sky.
We're going live to Devin outside.
The newswoman on TV stammered out, looking around nervously like she had no idea what to do.
He's volunteered? Volunteered, yeah, that's it. He's volunteered to go outside and film the sky for us to see what's up there. 1 second, we'll switch to his feed.
The screen cut out to the anchorman from before, now screaming and red-faced as others were dragging him somewhere. He was fighting back, but it was basically useless against the number of people that were surrounding him. Whoever was recording was following right alongside, saying nothing while some fucked up snuff film was about to go down. The pale fluorescence all around them made the beige hallway seem like the most mundane corridor to hell there could be. Finally, they reached a heavy metal door, with the group setting Devin down and pushing his back against it. The camera was shoved into his hands, changing the POV to show the scared man who was previously recording. Before Devin could even beg for mercy, they pushed him backwards through the door, the camera falling with a thud next to him on the ground. They slammed the door shut as Devin's sobbing, bleeding face was captured for the whole world to see, still lying on the concrete.
Please, please, want to go to my family. Please.
He was choking out between pain breaths.
Lisa, please. Be safe. Please. I'll be there soon.
I didn't even realize it until the screen began to blur, but I was crying now. Jesus, I must have felt empty for so long that I almost forgot what it was like. Between seeing my own family and hearing what was going on in the streets, I can't say I didn't feel for the guy. Fucking hell on earth, but he probably has no idea where his family is. I was almost rooting for him like I was watching some underdog at the fucking Olympics when he left the camera behind, keeping his head down and running fast. There was a small car parallel parked right down the street. I'm guessing that it was his, because he dug his keys from his pocket before jumping in, car starting with the jump before it was swarmed on all sides. People, no. The blood all over their faces said otherwise. Monsters.
That bastard!
A woman's voice cut in, feed switching back to the studio news desks. The woman was beating her fist on the table, overflowing anger in her voice.
Sorry, folks. Technical difficulties. We'll be right back.
Then the screen flashed out, instead taken over by the emergency alert message, same as before. The people down at the station must have lost the battle with their own sanity, turning on each other. Not too surprising, I guess. It took me a few minutes of searching and grasping blindly under the couch, but I finally found my phone again. There was a missed call from my mom. I'm assuming just trying again for her original goal, but I know what she is now. I'm not risking that. Let's see if there's anything else out there, though. Twitter was a cesspool, as usual, with plenty of conspiracies floating around. Reddit wasn't too much better. Some claiming that it was the end of the world, while others said that it was some kind of Russian attack. Meanwhile, everyone around the entire world was going through this same nightmare. People turning into monsters outside our doors. But we're arguing on the internet about who's behind it. Nobody even knows what the hell it was. All this bitching and moaning, all this blame being thrown around, and nobody even knows because just looking up is enough to turn you into one of those fucks. Worst part is that it doesn't even show up in photographs or videos. Not digital, anyway. There was talks of trying analog recording methods, a lot of discussion about how digital can't capture it because of cybernetic cloaking or some shit like that. There's no telling what's the truth and what's not at this point. The analog idea got me thinking, though. God, where's that damn thing at? I ran into the closet to throw open some boxes, still packed for moving over 2 years ago, desperately searching. And finally, I found it. My old Polaroid that Dad had gotten me for Christmas 1 year. Now this thing was vintage, and he found it in great condition. I double-checked that it was good to go, grabbing a pack of photos for it and loading them in. The camera opened, the daylight was slightly seeping in from the cracks under the window. I tested it out. Shutter gave a mechanical hiss, bulb flashing bright against the relatively dark room, and a small picture zipped out right from the camera's front. Alright, take it out, flap it around for a second, and good. My tiny studio apartment was all there, caught on grainy film against the backdrop. In a world that wasn't ending, this would be a great cover for a Midwest emo album. Alright, Daisy, step up. Don't look out, just put the camera through the window and press the shutter. Don't even think about it. Thinking about it was the only thing that I could do. Okay, start slow. 2 hands nervously reaching from this side of the curtains while turning my head as far around as I could, trying to hold the bulky camera steady enough to snap the picture. I didn't even know if I would get a picture. I angled it towards the ground now. Okay, and click. I could hear the bulb hiss, that same shutter sound, before I yanked it back in and looking at it with fear at the underdeveloped photo jutting out of the slot. Pick it up, give it a wave, and color began to fade in slowly, revealing the lush greens and browns of the trees below in the Atlanta fall. Around the street, there was a bloodbath, straight out of a horror movie. These things were just grabbing people, horror on their faces as they were dragged from their homes and businesses, all being forced to open their eyes, looking at the bright, cloudless sky above. Even in the grainy photo, I could still catch the fear in those people's eyes, some seeing their final moments against their will. Others were right in the midst of their own agony, gouging their eyes out with fingers, scratching any semblance of sight from their faces with whatever they could even find. I dropped the photo upon noticing a child with what looked like a shard from a broken mirror from a nearby car, readying it in front of his eyes for something that I knew wasn't going to be good. Fucking hell. I didn't want to do this. I don't even want to try seeing what's in the sky. What if I can do something good, though? Maybe contribute something good. Solve a part of this big fucked up mystery of a situation. I mean, I can try. Right? Deep breaths. Daisy, deep breaths. Just stick the camera through the curtains again. Keep it steady. There weren't any taller buildings than mine nearby. The city was starting to level out into suburbs just outside my window. This is it. A clear shot of the sky beyond. But will it work? Will it turn me into one of them? Hell, I'm probably dead at this point anyway. I'm still too scared to even leave my apartment at the end of the fucking world. I'm still too worried about eviction or paying bills like there's even gonna be a tomorrow. My finger clicks the shutter. Same bulb flash and hiss as imprinted outside onto the film. Deep, slow breaths. Careful not to bump the photo as I bring it back in, making sure to keep looking away from the crack in the curtains. The world outside was going straight to hell. I got it. I got the photo. Now just give it a little time to expose so it develops. Jesus Christ. I see it. Clear as fucking day. I see it. It's showing up on the Polaroid. This fucking giant? It looked like a man up top, riding a horse like he was heading into battle. The horse was beyond dead, though. Skin and nerves flayed, exposing the dark, red, bloody muscle underneath. It was in motion as it was captured on the grimy photo, legs mid-pump, propelling itself towards the earth. No telling how big the damn thing was, but it was larger than the sun in the sky, threatening to blot it out at any moment as it cast its shadow over the world beyond. The rider was even more terrifying than the skinless horse. A charred, barely hanging on body with missing limbs. The foot was barely attached, joddling alongside the horse. Meanwhile, the face had its eyes gouged out, much like those below, but it looked like his wounds were cauterized. Terrible burns marking the top of his visage as his jaw hung open, one side dangling down further on its lopsided grin. I wanted to throw up. I wanted to scream and open the window wide to show myself that it wasn't real. I could hear something nagging at the back of my mind the entire time, a guttural whispered voice struggling to speak through a destroyed throat.
Come and see.
Everything else in my head was screaming, telling me not to listen to the damned thing. It sounded so welcoming, though. To look at the sky and let all my worries go. To see the giant figure on that red horse. No. I can't let go now. I actually did something. I got some kind of answer, right? I did something good? Who the fuck am I even asking this to at this point, other than, what, the voices inside of my head? At least some of them were telling me to live. It's better than most days. A scream pierced the air from outside, waking me from the trance that I had been in. A hand reached out to the curtain in front of me to pull it back. Fuck no! I can't do that. I pulled my hand back fast, like I was touching a still hot pan on the stove, dropping the Polaroid in the process. From lower down, the scream quickly died out, joining the now steady whispers growing loud enough for me to hear even this high up, all beginning to sink in their strange beckoning. Come and see. They must have gone through most of the street-level buildings already, which means they'll probably move up here soon. I can at least get this picture on the internet. Maybe someone can do something with it. A tweet, a Reddit post, anything. Hell, I'll even put it up on TikTok if it gets the attention that could help someone. It only took a few moments after I snapped a picture of the Polaroid to post, and not long after that for the comments to start flooding in. Stop spreading disinfo, for fuck's sake. Cool pic. Artist name? Nice Photoshop, jackass. But the world is ending. I told you all to repent! Standard, run-of-the-mill bullshit. Of course. Nobody would believe it. Why believe the batshit insanity happening right outside of your window when you could just make up fucking conspiracy theories on the internet? Jesus Christ, I might jump off the roof before I even get the chance to look at the thing. The flood of notifications started to make me just want to end it all, knowing that there wasn't going to be any help for anyone in this shitstorm of death.
And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, "Come and see."
You gotta be fucking kidding me. As many Sunday school lessons and church sermons that I've been dragged to in my life, all of the southern evangelical hellfire that I've heard, there is no fucking way. It fit though. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Except, this is the second one. Jesus, what was the first? The pale horse, I think? No idea where he is, but the second one was the red horse. The one that was always brought up in sermons about the end times. In this wars and bloodshed to really bring everything together. We really, truly are fucked then, I guess. A crash from below took me right out of my focus, remembering millions of Bible verses that I had to study back in school despite how bored I was. Hell. Revelations was one of the few that held my attention for longer than a second. The whole thing was like a metal album on the most hardcore hallucinogens possible. Seeing it firsthand is much more terrifying. It's the end of the world outside. A bloody horse and an undead rider are hurtling through the sky, and I feel whelmed. Maybe it's just the lack of meds and my brain deciding that it's not the worst thing that could happen, but the end of the world feels like a damned relief. Or at least it did, until the noise started going on downstairs. There were crashes at first, mixed in with some of the few sporadic screams left in the streets, and then it started getting even closer though. Working from the streets through the thin walls of my building. Screams below my feet, outside my door. They were finally coming for us. My phone let out a loud siren again, another alert coming through during all this chaos. I looked down, seeing if there was any messages for safety, shelter, or any answer to any of this.
Come and see.
That was it. The emergency alert was the same goddamn thing. Everything is over. I don't know what to do. I mean, I'm safe in here, I think. I don't want to risk opening my door because, well, then they might come in here. No, stay here. Stay in safety. Do not look outside, Daisy.
Come and see.
A voice, but not from the streets below me, or even outside my door. It sounded close enough to be right in my ear, standing right beside me, pushing me to go look. Why not, right? I mean, I had already seen the picture. It's not like looking at the actual thing could break me much further at this point, right? No. I have to figure out a way. Don't think about looking at that damned thing. Just get out and try to find shelter elsewhere. Basement. There was a basement level that had sewer access, I think. I can't see the sky if I'm underground. I can't get exposed by those things if there's nothing to make me look at it. It's perfect. There was no rhyme or reason to it. My BPD brain just suddenly said, you can get out of here. And the next thing I know, I'm just rolling with it. The energy's here, so I'm not letting go. I don't want to die, as much as that I'm okay with the world ending. A knife, a flashlight that barely works. Wasn't much to choose from in this sparse apartment. I have to give myself some credit, though. At least I wasn't a hoarder. It took all of 5 minutes to get ready, and then 1 minute for all of my hopes to get to the basement to fly right out of the window. Noises grew louder, the screams advancing up the building along with something new. The smell of smoke. Shit! Shit, 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 shit. It was all I could whisper, shout to myself as things were getting worse. I braced myself, standing in front of the apartment door, eyes closed tight, praying to whatever God would send this hell to us, that they weren't going to be right outside just yet. I reached for the knob and get ready to turn, fling, and run. Jesus! The knob was hot. The fire was already close outside. There might not be any way down. They were probably trying to flush us out. I grabbed a towel off the bathroom sink, wrapped it around the knob, and was pushing it open. Flames were already lighting up this dingy hallway, lights flickering out as the fire tore through the electrical system. Whatever fire safety system had been in the building wasn't doing shit. There was an alarm ringing without any sort of sprinkler even attempting to help. Smoke was rising high, covering the ceiling before the flames could take it first. Only time was keeping it from burning. Okay, change of plans. Run the other way. The stairs were on the other end of the hall, with only hopes guiding me to see if they would still get me down to ground level. Bursting through the emergency door was like hitting a wall of heat. Fire was already rising up from the ground floor under the winding stairs below. No way down, only up. Screams echo behind me from the hallway, creatures running through to pull out flaming bodies, tossing them from windows to see the sky outside. There was nothing that could get me back there. Those damn things were already swarming this floor in droves to take more of their own. No. This was it. Face them or burn below. Neither are any kind of fun way out. Hell, both are going to be really painful. I would rather not do any form of pain.
Come and see! Come and see!
One of the monsters was practically chanting with glee back on the hallway. Maybe it was better if I just took myself out and not give them the chance to get a new recruit. The knife in my hand could probably get right through my neck easily. Maybe if I just stabbed myself through the ear, it would keep me down. My only worry is that they'll get to me before I can actually die. No. The knife wouldn't work worth a damn. My only other option is up there. The stairs above me were clearer than any flames, just smoke rising slowly to build above. There was a roof access door up there. Usually it's where the teenagers would go to smoke without getting caught, but it would make a good place for a final bow. 26 floors, and I'm on 15. I better start running. Except, before I could even get moving, one of them sees me. And it screams, running for me in a frenzy while still repeating the same damn verse fragment. It was right in my head at this point too, screaming on the outside and inside. There was no escaping it. As soon as it began after me, more joined, running from runes from the opposite end of the hall, pouring towards me in chorus of the damned. Down below, more ran up the stairs, flames covering their bodies like living funeral pyres, all coming to attend my wake. No time to hesitate now, I guess. Stairs were taken 2 at a time for the next 5 floors at least, but that was about when I started to feel how out of shape I was. The adrenaline was going wild, but my lungs were burning, and the floors above were no better than mine, with creatures already starting to flush through from the roof down. Wouldn't be surprised if there were more people up there when everything went to shit, considering that it was easier than smoking on the street for most people. Rising flames kept anyone from escaping though, leaving them to either jump to their deaths or be forced to look outside by the demons. Air was getting scarce up here as the smoke was continuing to rise, making me cough through labored breaths. Floor 22 now. Screams echoing behind me as the same creatures that saw me initially kept following. Maybe it's some sort of hive mind that they have, because this thing was forming a whole group to run after me. Just a couple of flight of stairs behind. Some of them were on fire, spreading the blaze around to the others as they were packed in tight in the narrow steps. They didn't stop though, all frothing past each other to get at me. Just keep climbing, keep climbing, keep climbing. Gritting my teeth and taking the deepest breaths that I could, I finally got to the roof access. A huge red door with an emergency light blaring above it, loud and buzzing from the fire alarm, letting everyone know that the world was fucked. The damn thing was already swinging open and closed hard. Wind outside fighting with hot, flaming air inside to see who could win.
Come and see, come and worship, for the end is near.
There were so many voices down below, on the stairs, all screaming out the same terrifying rumble. Eyeless faces smiling up at me in bliss. They weren't afraid, weren't driven by any kind of hunger or goal. They were just happy. It's the same looks that I would see on the adults during church services. Those same smiles of being assured in their place in the world. Even after they stepped out of the building and acted like a whole different person than they claimed to be. But that same fake smile stayed though, making the damaged half of their face look even more terrifying in contrast. The course of hell continued as I ran out of time to open up the door. They were almost upon me, and I finally got up the nerve, walking close and closing my eyes before stepping out. I can visualize the entire roof in my mind after the amount of times that I'd been up there. Straight ahead is the AC unit for the building. To my right is another shorter building that could interrupt my fall. My left was the best destination, over the side, and right down onto the paved street below, still probably teeming with these terrors. I don't have a choice. These voices grew louder behind me, screaming,
Come and see!
So loud that it began to make my ears buzz with static, deafening in its power. Run, run, Daisy. It's all that I can do to keep moving, but I eventually hit the ledge, barely stopping myself from falling right over. Stopping for a moment, just to make sure that I do this right. I climb up on top. I take a stand. Don't face the road though. No. If I can see what's below, it's going to make me stop. Don't stop. I can't stop. I have to end myself before they can end me. Feet on the concrete ledge, wind beginning to hit me hard, almost knocking me off balance and into the pavement below. I open my eyes to see the creatures pouring out of the access door, running behind me. I step back, falling backwards to face the sky above, losing any stability and giving myself up to gravity.
Come and see!
The voices rang out again. The sun was bright. But in the moment that I fell back onto the ground with nothing but the high sky above me, the words echoed even louder. Come and see! And I saw. Finally, I saw. While a loud and thunderous chorus all combined into one singular voice, ringing out once more. Come and see! I beheld a red horse galloping through the sky with immense speed. War sat upon him, a massive sword held in a frail and decaying hands, slicing the air as more and more of the earth was cut down, brother killing brother. My last sight before gravity turned my head was the horse, his eyes burning bright with the heat of the sun, pure hatred burning in its face. And as my body turned, seeing the creature began to make me feel at peace. This was our fate. But was it a bad fate? The Messiah will be here soon, and the horseman was just bringing his good news. War will be a blight on the earth no more, with no humans left to foster aggression towards one another. Now, we would all come together in worship, spreading the good news of what was to come by opening the eyes of others. My eyes are open now, though these eyes cannot yet comprehend the beauty of what I've seen. No, I'll need to open
up my real eyes, the one underneath these. Then I will be able to see the true beauty of what's to come. The true salvation of all this bloodshed that it will bring. The coming of the new kingdom will be built upon the bodies of the damned. The last fading thought that I have is the same phrase that brought me terror just moments before. My lips part, pushing words out in a whisper against the wind, trying to rip them through my throat. 3 final words before the pavement meets my head. The old me's plan was working perfectly as I hit skull first, spilling my brain over the concrete. But my lips still manage to finish the final words, though, twitching as the rest of my body falls to the ground. Come and see.